Hi, I am Vishwajit Sharma, and in this video we will talk about some of the basic concepts related to the vector algebra. Most of these concepts which is written in this whiteboard, you have learned about this in your higher engineering mathematics classes. I will not waste much time on these concepts. I am covering this video just to remind you that these concepts will be used in the higher form of this vector one, which is vector calculus. So in vector calculus we will mostly be covering the fluid dynamics part. To go into that topic, this vector algebra is important. This will be very short video, and we will only talk about some of the basic concepts. About scalar. So scalar means the quantities which can be measured with some scale or ruler. I am not talking about exact ruler, but with some scale you can measure and you can talk about the exact state of that quantity. For example, if we talk about the mass, we just need a beam balance or a mass scale, where we can say that mass of this object is this much kg or this much pound. So these scalar quantities can be measured with scale. So to state the scalar quantities, we need only two things. First is its magnitude, which we also call value, and the second thing is unit. So for example, if we have a beam balance and where stone is there, so just scale will read like 5 kg this stone. So for 5 kg we have 5 as mass, magnitude, and kg is its unit. To represent any type of quantity, we need magnitude and unit. I am only talking about the scalar quantities. Now we will talk about what are the vector quantities. So for scalar quantities, we know that they have only magnitude stated with their units. So what were the example of scalar quantity? Example of scalar quantities are mass and speed and length, or we can call it as distance. Suppose I ask you what is the length of this marker, then you can say that by measuring with ruler, you say that the length of this marker is 10 centimeter. I am not asking you that tell me length measured from bottom to top. How have you placed your scale, from bottom to top or top to bottom? I am not asking you, just I am asking you that what is its length. So you just say that the length of this marker is 10 centimeter. So scalar quantities only require that magnitude with centimeter as units. Now comes the concept of vector quantity. For example, a man, this is man, for example, suppose a person is walking inside a park, and if the direction is mentioned as this side north direction, this is west direction, this is east direction, this is south direction, and this is west direction. If a person stays initially a person is in center of this park, okay? Now he start to move in east direction, and that person, suppose this is the person, and uh, he has his son along with him. His son is standing here. Now that person starts to walk toward each direction. Now his son is alone in the center of the park. Some other people, they have looked that his son is alone, that child is alone. So they have asked their son that, where is your father? The son told that my father has gone somewhere. Then they will ask, in which direction? Then he is asking, in this direction. He is not knowing that what is east, west, south. If he knows, then he will tell that he has gone to east direction. Okay. Now they will ask, he has gone to east direction. Okay. Now, east direction, up to what distance he has covered till now. So they will run towards the east direction to search for that man, and they will get him. Now police will ask, okay, where did you get this person? Then they will say that we got this person 100 yards towards the its direction from the center of the park. Here the direction is very important. East direction. Okay, this thing I am only telling you about the length or distance one. So vector quantities are the quantities which need magnitude, yard watch unit, and direction. Some of the examples of vector are displacement, placement, and velocity, and area, and what? Minimal momentum, etc. Even most of the fields, they also have, like magnetic field or electric field, they also have magnitude as well as directions. According to that direction only we decide that what will be the forces and what will be the direction of the forces. You remember that left hand rule. So this is all about the understanding of vector, which is different from the scalar quantities. Now we will talk about the vector quantities, some of the nomenclatures related to it, and how they can be represented on the Cartesian coordinate system. To understand that how vectors are represented in the Cartesian coordinate system, and from this concept we will try to perform the basic operations on these vectors. Suppose this is our xy rectangular coordinate system. Oh, okay, this is Cartesian coordinate system, and O is origin. If we have a point P whose coordinate is x0, y0. So x0 is the distance from origin to this point, x0, and this y0 is the vertical distance of this point in y-axis. So this point is represented as x0, y0. Now if I will ask you that tell me that where this point is located, you will say this point is located at y0 distance in y-axis and x0 distance in x-axis. If I am standing at origin, then I will just ask you, okay, this much distance, so what do you think that I should walk on x0 distance this side and y0 distance this side? This much I have to walk. Then you say that okay, I am telling you that point P you can see directly here. So if you connect this to point P and start walking toward point P, then the line connecting from U to point P is the direction vector. It is telling the direction vector by which you can reach towards the point P. Now this direction vector OP is direction. For vector sign, if I will talk about the vector, then we will mark an arrow over that line segment. So this line segment OP is saying this points, and this is the directions. It always goes from O to P. That means OP vector is not equals to PO vector. The magnitude is same, but OP is from O to P direction, it is same, and PO is from P to O. These two directions are opposites. That's why vector algebra is somehow initially it is very tough to grasp. You have to analyze much. Okay. We were talking about the direction. In fact, if you want to write this in Cartesian coordinate system, which we have learned in our secondary, higher secondary or higher classes, so we will represent this as point P equals to, just we will write in coordinate system like x naught, y naught. Okay. If you want to write this point in vector, so in vector we will write this point as OP, or P vector is equals to x naught I cap plus y naught j cap. Why we have written I cap and j cap? Where I cap is unit direction vector in x-axis, and j cap is unit direction vector in y-axis. Okay. Now I will ask you, what is the location of this point P? Then you will say that the location of this point P is x naught, y naught. X naught in I direction and y naught in j direction. So this is the form of a vector. So vector can either be written as this, and or vector can either be written as this form. So x naught and y naught, they are coefficients. So if I ask that what is the length of this vector, if I will ask that what is the length of OP vector, then how it will be calculated? Now the length of the OP vector is calculated as if we take this triangle, then we know that this is a right angle triangle. So applying Pythagoras theorem, what is the length of OP? OP is the hypotenuse, this is perpendicular, this is base, then hypotenuse is equal to square root of perpendicular square plus base square. We can easily say that OP is equal to OP. So I am saying about length of OP. Length of OP you can measure from O to P or P to O. I am only talking about length, which is also known as magnitude. Magnitude of that vector. This is equal to under root of x naught square plus y naught square. That means under root of coefficient of I cap square plus coefficient of j cap square. In 3-dimensional, one more k cap will come here. Okay. So this is the magnitude. If I will ask you that what is the direction of this vector, so in this picture you will say that direction is just tan inverse of perpendicular by base. So direction, you can say direction is tan inverse of perpendicular is y0 by x0. In complex geometry also we have this one, okay, conjugate and magnitude, and we have this direction as tan inverse of y0 by x0. This formula is only applicable if that vector is measured, anything with related to that vector measured with respect to origin, or that vector is passing through origin. Now there is one property of vector, that any vector which is called as equality of vector. When two vectors are equal, what are the conditions of vector to be equal? So two vectors are equal. Two vectors are equal only if three things are equal. What three things? First is magnitude, second is direction, and third is unit. If all these three of the vectors are equal, then we say that vectors are equal. Now if I will draw one more vector from here to here, this point is y0 dash and this point is x0, then what will you say? The length of this vector is same as the OP vector. This is O dash, this is y dash, this is P dash. We will say that the length of this vector and OP vector is same. The direction of y0 dash, P dash vector and OP dash vector is same, and the unit is in, for example, in centimeter, the unit is also same. Then these two vectors are equal. So all the equal vectors are replaced. We can move this vector so that all three conditions satisfy. So we can move this OP vector here also, so that its magnitude should be equal, its directions should be equal, and unit should be also hold equality. So this was the condition of two vectors to be equal, and how you can move any one vector to any place. To understand the addition, we will assume two vectors as vector A is equal to A1 I cap plus A2 j cap. I am only considering two-dimensional. And B vector as B1 I cap plus B2 j cap. In this video, I will take these two vectors and their respective coefficients will be like A1, A2, B1, B2. Let A1 vector be represented with this O, A. And B1 vector is somewhere here. Like P, B. Okay. B vector. Now how to add these two vectors? Recall the previous concept. I told you this vector can be moved anywhere inside this coordinate system if three conditions are achieved. First condition, the magnitude of this vector should be equal to this vector. For example, if I want to move this vector here, okay, now this two vector, this will be moved here only if these two are equal vectors. So when this vector will be equal to this? When the length or the magnitude of this PB is equal to the magnitude of this vector. If direction of this vector, now is the direction equal? No, we have to draw somewhat here. If direction of this vector is equal to this vector and the unit of this vector is equal to this vector, okay? So we have drawn this PB vector here as OB. So this is our A vector, this is our B vector. I am erasing this one. Now how to add these two vectors? So there is a triangle law. Triangle law states that we can add these two vectors by completing a triangle. Now this OA vector is here. To add this, we need to relocate this OB vector, this B vector, somewhere around the OA. How? This is our A vector. Now we will move this OB vector just in front of A. So this vector is transferred here and this vector is transferred here, okay? So that the head of vector A is matched with, so that the tail of vector A is matched with the head of vector B. Now the resultant vector will be the point connecting the initial to the final point. This is the addition of A and B. And we know that we can transfer any vector to any point inside this coordinate system. So this A plus B can be transferred here. So how this will be seen? In this direction, this much length. So AB will like this. This will be resultant vector A plus B. R is resultant vector. Okay. So you can represent AB vector here by drawing a simple triangle. Okay. If you have a graph paper, then you can easily do this operation in a graph paper. Now, again, if we want to subtract B vector, okay, so what we will do, this is our A vector or B vector, this is our B vector. So what will we do? This is our B vector, this is also our B vector, this is A vector. The B vector has been relocated here. We have to use A plus B vector. So A plus B vector can be written as A plus minus B of vector. A minus B vector can be written as A plus of minus B vector. So if we add opposite vectors, so minus sign dictates that its direction is opposite. So minus B vector will be in the same direction, in the opposite direction with same magnitude. So A plus of minus B. So this will be the direction of A minus B vector. Here also A minus B vector can be seen as, this is A minus B vector. Okay, this thing is clear. So vector has been subtracted here. If we recall the vector A and vector B, vector A is represented A1 I cap plus A2 j cap, vector B is represented by vector B1 I cap and B2 j cap. These two can be added as A vector plus B vector is equal to, if you want to quantify this, you can just add the coefficients of this I cap and j cap. So the coefficient of I cap is, first you write I cap and just add these two coefficients. This is A1 plus B1. And same as j cap, it's A2 plus B2. Okay, A plus B vector, we denote it as resultant vector is equal to A1 plus B1 I cap plus A2 plus B2 j cap. This is the resultant vector if A vector is represented by A1 plus A2, A1 I cap plus A2 j cap, and B vector is represented by B1 I cap plus B2 j cap. Now what is the direction? Suppose this is the reference line, so B is in theta direction from this reference line, A is with alpha direction with this reference line. So what is the angle between this A and B vector? This will I will tell you about that, how to calculate it in the product concept. When we will derive the product, then we will get about it, that how to find out the angle between these two vectors. So these two vectors are added by adding the coefficients of respective vectors. So what will be the magnitude of resultant vector? Same, under root of square of I and square of j. A1 plus B1 whole square plus A2 plus B2 whole square. This is the resultant of, this is the magnitude of resultant vector or the length of the resultant vector. So up to this time we have understood about what are vectors, how they are represented in Cartesian coordinate system, how they are added, and also what is the magnitude, what is direction. Now we will see the important part, which is multiplication. In multiplication we will have scalar to vector, scalar multiplied by vector. So how scalar and vector are multiplied? You can take example that momentum is equal to m into v. Okay, so here if mass is constant, so momentum can be represented as mass, which is scalar quantity, into vector quantity. What you do here, you just multiply it as it is. Example, mass is 5 kg and v is the velocity, and our velocity is 5 I cap plus 2 j cap, means velocity is 5 meter per second. 5 meter per second in I cap direction, in x direction, and 2 meter per second in j direction. So how will we find mv? So momentum, which is represented by p, is equals to mv equals to 5 into 5 I cap plus 2 j cap to kg meter per second equals to 25 I cap plus 10 j cap kg meter per second. That means whenever you are multiplying some scalar to vector, then scalar will be multiplied by each coefficient of this respective vector. Here we have two modes. One is called dot product and other is called the cross product. Now from all these, in vector algebra, in vector calculus, we will be reading about, in vector calculus we will be learning about curl, divergence, gradient, etc. If we understand what is dot product, what is cross product, then in vector calculus part we will understand this curl, divergence, gradient, which is very important and which comes in the Navier-Stokes equation, continuity equation, or we talk about transport theorem, anything. So this is the last part of this video and most important part of this vector algebra. Now we will talk about the dot product. We will talk about dot product. I am saying about vector. Vector is multiplied with vector. And in first part I am saying about dot product. Dot product, which is represented as A dot B, and its product is scalar one. So vector is multiplied with vector, which gives scalar. Okay, this is the main property of the dot product. So dot product is, if I am saying A dot B, then it is equals to A1 B1 plus A2 B2. In dot product, the respective coefficient of each directions are multiplied. For example, if I say that what is A dot B in 3D, so here also comes at A3 B3. If here is A3 K cap and B3 K cap. Okay, but for sake of simplicity, I am only dictating here about two dimensional. So A dot B is represented as A1 B1 plus A2 B2. This is one of the formula of A dot B. So I am writing here A dot B is equals to A1 B1 plus A2 B2. This is vector, these two are vector, and this product is scalar. Now we will learn one more thing. If you have covered this video up to this time carefully, then you can remember that what I have told you when I was doing that addition part. In addition, I tell you that I will tell about angle between these two vectors in the multiplication part. So from dot product we can tell about the angle between A and B. How? For example, if I find out the magnitude of A minus B vector, let's calculate. A minus B vector is A1 minus B1 I cap plus A2 minus B2 J cap, and its magnitude is under root of A1 minus B1 square plus A2 minus B2 square. If we expand this, it will come as A1 square plus A2 square plus B1 square plus B2 square. Okay, A square plus B square minus 2AB, A square plus B square minus 2AB. So from here minus 2AB will come, minus 2 into A1 B1. From here also it come as minus 2 into A2 B2. If we take minus 2 as common, So we will get minus twice of a1 b1 plus a2 b2. Just remember, what is the magnitude of this a vector? It is under root of a1 square plus a2 square. If I square both sides, then this under root will vanish and this under root will vanish. Now a1 square plus a2 square is the square of this modulus of a, okay, or square of the magnitude of a, these two, and b1 square plus b2 square is the mod of b. Okay, now here comes minus 2 a1 b1 plus a2 b2. Just see here, what is a dot b? It is a1 b1 plus a2 b2. We can write it here. We can write here as a dot b. So we can write here as a dot b. Okay, we can write here as a dot b. If we expand the formula of a minus b whole square, then what we will get? Suppose this is a triangle, this side is a, this side length is b, and this is theta. So from cosine law, this length c is a square plus b square under root of, or we can say about c square is a square plus b square minus 2 ab cos of theta. We can write it here as a square plus b square. See, this is a vector, this is b vector. Okay, so we can write here as a minus b vector. This is a minus b vector. How? This is a vector, this is b vector. For example, this is b vector. This is a vector, this is b vector, and this is a minus b vector. Okay. So a minus b can be represented by mod of a, just see here, mod of a square plus mod of b square minus 2a mod of b into cos of theta, which is equal to this one, equal to mod of a square plus mod of b square minus 2a dot b. I have used here cosine law. Cosine law. So a square b square has been cancelled out, minus is cancelled out, 2 is cancelled out. So cos theta is equals to a dot b divided by mod of a into mod of b. If a dot b is, so if this is our axis, if the angle of a b lies between 0 to 90, then cos theta is positive. If angle lies between 90 to 180, cos theta is negative, and 180 to 270, cos theta is negative, and 270 to 360, it's positive. Okay, then theta is equal to cos inverse of a dot b divided by a into b. Okay, I am not writing here magnitude of a dot b because that minus sign will vanish. So I am just writing a dot b upon a vector by v vector. So we can find out direction between two vector with dot product. Now the last part of the vector multiplication is cross product. Cross product whose output is vector. So cross product is represented by A cross B. How to calculate it? Just write down like this: I cap, J cap, K cap, I cap, J cap. You write down respective for A here and B here. For A, coefficient A1, for J, I am only talking, okay, K cap plus A3 K cap plus B3 K cap. K cap. So A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. Okay, here also I am writing A1, A2 with respective B1, B2. So how to calculate this? Since the output is vector 1, so I cap, J cap, K cap will come. So first I cap. So X part is, if we take out I cap, so remove this column, we have A2 into B3 minus A3 into A2 B3, A2 B3 minus A3 B2 plus J cap. The cross product is represented by this formula. Now we will look around that for what thing cross product are used. There are some properties of cross product. Properties. So what were the properties of dot product? We have looked at it. Dot product gives out scalar result, and it is used to find out angle between vectors, whereas we will find that cross product gives out vector and it is used to find out area of parallelogram. Parallelogram, vorticity, circulation, etc. We have seen that A cross B gives out vector result. Now, what will be the magnitude of A cross B? So magnitude, for vector we need magnitude, but A dot B, here we don't want any magnitude, magnitude, because it is giving a scalar result. So no magnitude is required, but for A cross B we need magnitude. So magnitude is the same formula. We have something as I cap, J cap, K cap. So from this we just find out under root of this one is square plus this one is square plus this is square. Okay. From one more formula, we know that A dot B is equal to magnitude of A, magnitude of B into cos of theta. In the same way, one more formula is there. that A cross B of mod is equal to mod of A into mod of B into sin theta. In the same way, we have this formula. Okay. So what is the significance of this formula? If we say that we have one vector like A vector, here we have B vector. So also we will draw same A vector here, and here also we will draw one B vector. So these two are parallel, B vector, these two are parallel, so it is making a parallelogram, and angle between A and B is theta. Okay, and our result, if you want to find area of triangle, I am writing here PQRS. So area of triangle PQS equal to half. Suppose this is SM is perpendicular. So area of triangle is half into base is PQ into height is SM. Okay, so what is PQ? Half into PQ is A vector, mod of A vector, into what is SM? SM is this, SM is B sine of theta. B, this PS sine theta. PS sine theta equals to half of mod of A, mod of B, magnitude of A, magnitude of B into sine of theta. So area of parallelogram PQRS equal to 2 into this area of triangle, twice into area of triangle PQS equal to 2 into half into mod of A, mod of B into sine of theta equals to mod of A into mod of B into sine of theta, which is equal to A cross B magnitude. So area of parallelogram we can write as A cross B, its magnitude, area of parallelogram. Now, in one more way, we can say that area of triangle, if there is a triangle which is made by A vector and B vector, then if this is line joining, then area of this triangle will be A cross B, magnitude of half into A cross B. From that formula we see. Okay, from Heron's formula we have learned about Heron's formula in class 9th. So from Heron's formula we know that the area of triangle is equals to, if there is triangle PQR. So from Heron's formula we know that area of triangle is, and it's is x1 y1, its coordinate is, its x2 y2, its coordinate is x3 y3. So from Heron's formula we know that area of triangle is equals to area of triangle is equal to triangle this equal to, we have this x1 y2 minus x2 y1 plus Heron's formula is written by this one only. So, okay, so this is x1, we can say here that a1, a2, we can write here as b1, b2, we can write here as c1, c2. So here we can say that from and we know that the area has come out like this. So this was all about the cross product and dot products. There are many of the quantities which require some the multiplication of cross product as well as dot product. For example, if we say about a dot b dot c, does this exist? It does not exist, because a dot b gives out scalar. Now how scalar? Now scalar dot c, scalar dot vector does not exist. So a dot b dot c, so dot product of three vectors does not exist. Now we a cross b cross c exist, a dot b cross c, it exists. We can find that b cross c, then we can find out. Okay, this exists. Okay, now you need to tell me. So a dot b cross c, a dot b cross c, does this exist? Yes, exist, because a is vector, b is vector, c is vector. The outcome of this b cross c is vector, so we can find out a dot b. So dot product a dot b, its result will always lie on plane a and b. If plane of a vector and b vector. If a vector is lying on this board, if a vector is this side of board, b vector is this side of board, then a dot b will always, its result will always lie on this plane of board. It will not come out from board, it will not go down from board. It will always exist in this plane of this whiteboard. If we talk about a cross b, then the result of a cross b will be always perpendicular to the other two vectors. Means if this is a vector, this vertical side is b vector, then a cross b will always come out to be perpendicular of a and b vector both. So these are the difference of a dot b and a cross b. Further, what are the use, and from that perpendicularity or they lie on same plane, and if you understand this thing, just only this thing, then you will easily understand the curl, divergence, gradient, and also in other classes I will talk about Green's theorem, Gauss divergence theorem and Stokes theorem. These are three important theorems in the field of fluid dynamics. From that we can find out the transport theorem, and furthermore we can find out the Navier-Stokes equation, and we can derive it, and we can understand each part of the Navier-Stokes equation. So that is all about this video. If you have any doubt, then the mail ID is given in description link. You can ask, and if any suggestions you have, then all those suggestions are welcome. And